What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA channel. We are, a month and a half less away from UFC 319. We're going to have DDP face off against Khamzat Chimaev, the biggest fight of the year, in my opinion, even bigger than what happened in June at International Fight Week, even bigger than this fantasy fairy tale matchup that never came to fruition, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. This is the fight of the year, of the decade, in my opinion. We've got two undefeated fighters, undefeated in the UFC, DDP undefeated at middleweight as well, versus Khamzat Chimaev, undefeated in total. Two of my favorite fighters, but of course Khamzat Chimaev as my absolute favorite fighter in the UFC. And I cannot wait for this fight. Now, we did a video earlier, or last week, I should say, about Robert Whittaker's prediction of this fight. I was really looking forward to that prediction because Robert Whittaker is the one and only super high level guy that has fought both DDP and Khamzat Chimaev. And much to my chagrin, he actually came out and picked against Khamzat Chimaev, which I was shocked about. I thought after his fight against Khamzat, what happened with DDP, I thought he was going to pick Khamzat. Now, of course, everybody who goes against Khamzat always says, well, he's got a shot in the first and the second round and whatnot to get the job done. So it could happen that way. But overall, he's giving the edge and the advantage to DDP. Well, now we have another super high-level fighter that is weighing in on this matchup, and it is Caio Borralho, if I'm pronouncing that right. I always have trouble with his last name, but the reason why I'm giving this one a ton of credibility is because Caio, when I first listened to him on the Jaxxon pod, I'm going to show you a quick clip from the Jaxxon pod. I remember thinking, man, this is a highly intelligent and highly disciplined fighter. So I'm very inclined to listen to what he says. Moreover, he has trained with Khamzat for a long time. He's trained with Sean Strickland. I'm not sure if he's trained with DDP. I think he may have, but don't quote me on that. But he's got a lot of experience with these fighters, and his prediction, I think, is really, really telling as well in terms of how this fight's going to go. But we shall see. We'll find out on August 16th. Anyways, first, I want to show you this clip just to get, if you're unfamiliar with Caio and how dyed into the game, how deeply invested he is in mixed martial arts. I just got a quick clip from the Jaxxon pod to illustrate exactly this. And I do encourage you guys to watch this entire episode to really get a feel for Caio Borralho. I remember the first time I listened to this, it really made me a big fan of him. So check out this quick clip.
That leads into my question is like, how much tape do you study? Do you like to study tape, or do you let your coaches study tape? Because your game plan coming in that fight was fantastic.
Yeah, we all study tape. Yeah, we study tape by our own, and we study tape together the whole camp.
Nice.
We like at least like one each 2 weeks. We reunite the team together and we study the tapes, you know. And we always see that kind of situation with Jared. Everybody was moving backwards to him, you know. I needed to move forward, but I couldn't be stupid, you know. Just moving forward, getting hit, it doesn't, you know. I needed to go there, do my defense, but keep moving forward, put pressure on him, because I know that he doesn't get tired, but he's not used to that. You know, you know what I mean? So that's how I approach this fight.
Their corner was even telling him stop backing up.
Yes,
like you got to go forward. And like even like the 5th round, he was like, even though you wanted to go forward, you weren't letting him. Like you just kept going. And then your shoulder roll defense was fantastic.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
It looked so great, right? Like because you're long, but then you wanted to be close with him. So you did such a good job of your shoulder roll defense. And it was such a different fight from your fight before that one against Paul Craig, right? Like Paul Craig, you came out a little bit hands lower, more karate stance, like longer explosion, like fantastic fight, that one. And then to watch just your next fight, not that far away, to come out and be like
totally different,
completely different. I love to see it because it's hard for fighters to add new wrinkles to their game. And the Fight Nerd's a perfect name for it because it was like fantastic to see that change from one fight.
Yes.
And I knew.
How cool, okay? How cool is this? We already know TJ Dillashaw is one of the best minds in the game, in the sport of mixed martial arts. We see it in spades on the Jaxxon pod, but then to watch him nerd out with Caio and talk about those little minutia that most of us fans, it goes right over our heads, but he's talking about the differences from one fight to the next. I think he's first talking about Jared Cannonier and then how he completely changed his style and his approach based on analysis. Another thing to point out is Caio watches tape himself. A lot of fighters say that they don't watch tape and they leave that up to their coaches, their coaching staff, and their team to build a game plan. But to me, I'm sure there's differing opinions on both sides and probably different things work for different fighters. But to me, I'm more of a do-it-yourself guy. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to get in there. I want to understand things. And I feel like the fact that Caio wants to get in there himself and analyze and break things down alongside his coaching staff, tells the full story about what kind of a fighter is and how intelligent he is. Now, all of this to say that this really leads me to trust his opinion when he's also doing analysis and breakdown and style matchup comparisons between this main fight for UFC 319, Khamzat Chimaev versus DDP. So now we're going to go to the clip that you guys have been waiting for. This is, of course, from Submission Radio. This was released, I think, earlier today or yesterday or something like that. But check this out. He gets asked the question, how does he think it goes down? It's not a clean-cut answer, but he definitely leans one way. So now we're going to hear from the man himself, from this technical genius when it comes to MMA, how is DDP versus Khamzat going to play out?
You're telling me it's hard for me to pick DDP. I always pick against him. Now we're a little closer to this fight. Are you going to be riding with DDP for this one, or you think Khamzat is going to walk away the champion?
Actually, right now, it's hard to bet against DDP because he always shut my mouth, you know? I always bet against him, and he always shut my mouth. So it's hard to bet against him, but it's hard to bet against Khamzat. It's just going to be how prepared to the Khamzat style. That is not a wrestling style. It's a different thing. That's the mistake that people do a lot. They prepare to fight against a wrestler, and Khamzat is not. It's not pure wrestling. He has a system. He does something different. He puts jiu-jitsu on the wrestling, so he needs to be well prepared, not against a wrestler, but against this Khamzat style. And I don't know if he's gonna be ready for that. Like, I feel that this fight can be as fast as the Whittaker fight. Like, really.
Oh, wow.
I think this fight can be really, really fast. But I can see this fight going to the second, the third round, and then I see some advantage for Dricus. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like Dricus' size will be a problem at all, or not really?
Yeah, size and strength, you know. Like, I think Khamzat, to make him stay on the ground and all that, and Dricus is not bad on the ground, you know. So to make him stay on the ground and all that, if Dricus can take like 1.5 rounds or 2 rounds, maybe Khamzat will be like fatigued for doing so much strength and all that, and then the fight's gonna get better to Dricus, you know.
There it is. There's the take. Now, is this totally groundbreaking? Is this completely new? Actually, it's not that novel, because a lot of people are saying if it ends early, it's Khamzat. If it ends late, it's DDP, which I don't think it's that simple of a bifurcation. I actually believe that Khamzat's cardio is being massively underestimated. I'm very curious to see what TJ Dillashaw and Luke Rockhold say about Khamzat, because they're going to be training with him over the next 6 weeks at the Jaxxon MMA gym or whatever he has set up in Newport Beach. So I'm really, really curious. I know Khamzat's going to be on that show. I cannot wait for that interview. It's going to be incredible. But so my point is, I don't think it's as simple as if Khamzat doesn't get him out there early, the momentum will completely shift. That being said, of course, DDP has strength, he has grit, and he does seem to have some really good cardio. So it's not even is Khamzat's cardio terrible. I think Khamzat's cardio it's super underestimated. I think he actually has quite good cardio comparatively, but whose is going to be better? Is it going to be DDP's or Khamzat's, and how's that going to play in to a longer fight if it does go that way? But all of this to say that I do think this way as well. I actually do think, if I had to put money on it, that it's going to be an early finish. It's going to be a first round finish similar to Robert Whittaker. And this is not to take anything away from DDP. I just think that Khamzat is a different type of fighter. It's not just a pure wrestler, as Caio puts it. He's got amazing jiu-jitsu and submissions to back that incredible wrestling pedigree. Plus, he's got super fast twitch muscles, which allows him to get very low and shoot from very far away and still connect and get the takedown. On top of that, his grappling is second to none. So once he gets a hold of you, we saw that with Robert Whittaker, he just couldn't get away. He kept trying to take all the, create all these different movements and rolls and spins to get away, and he just couldn't get away. And eventually it was too much. All the while, he's laying down ground and pound, very different from somebody like Bilal or other fighters. So you're taking damage while you're in those positions. And that's why I don't think it's as simple as, hey, if he can outlast him over 2 rounds, DDP will be good to go. DDP is not only going to get tired from just grappling exchanges, but he's going to sustain a lot of damage in rounds 1 and 2 is my feeling. So even if it does go long, I'm still favoring Khamzat. Of course, I'm biased because he is my favorite fighter, so that's probably in there somewhere. I'd like to think I'm looking at this through a purely objective lens, but that's almost impossible when you're a fight fan like I am and such a big fan of Khamzat Chimaev. But I'm trying to do my best here. So obviously, it's a fight. It can go any way, and we shall see. And that's what's so exciting is that we have people picking DDP, picking Khamzat, and there's a lot of debate and discussion. So that's why this fight is so incredible. But we shall find out for sure August 19th. Now, this is the final takeaway. Kyle picks Khamzat Chimaev, early victory. Who do you pick? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.